like many Americans, suddenly and unexpectedly found yourself a homeschooling family?
We have a few ideas to weave learning into your children's day without them even realizing it. I'm Michael.
And I'm Dana.
With Living Quite Simply, and we're passionate about learning, so much so that we decided long ago that we were going to homeschool our 4 children. We've always had this organic approach to learning, not necessarily wanting to bring school home, but making home a place where learning was fun. The goal of this video is to introduce you guys to some of the things that we utilize in our homeschool for ideas that you can use while your children are home.
We want our children to love learning and to choose themselves to be lifelong learners. A core part of a Charlotte Mason education is living books. And living books are books that aren't textbooks. They're books that are just enjoyable to read, and you're learning as you are delving into a story. So when you're using living books, subjects like history become enjoyable.
That's right. They're not textbooks spilling out facts or dates or time periods, but they're actually a story within that time period that actually holds the child's attention.
So here are some examples of living books that we have used recently and that we really enjoy. Currently, we're actually reading this book, The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. And this has been a very enjoyable read for every member of our family.
That's right.
This book, The True Story of Noah's Ark, is amazing. It actually comes with an audio CD. The CD is such a good quality, and this is really a must-have. These next 2 books are books that we have along with the curriculum that we're using this year, and even though we technically are only pulling them out about once a month to actually learn with them, we find our children often sitting down with these books. Actually, this book here, my husband was sitting down and reading with all 4 of our children, and they were all captivated by this book for about a half an hour while I was getting our lunch ready today. So this is really enjoyable. The Hungry Planet and Material World. And both of these books are geography books, but they are amazingly interesting. It has pictures.
The photography is amazing.
Yes, and it has pictures from across the world of different families. In this book, the pictures are what families eat in 1 week. So there's many pictures of families across the world and what they're eating in a typical week.
So the Material World is very similar, same author, and the pictures have the families with all their belongings out in front of their dwelling. So it's really interesting to see what a typical family in different areas of the world would have in their day-to-day life. The children love this one just as much.
Mm-hmm.
So please check out the description below. There'll be a link there for Simply Charlotte Mason's resource list, and you can find most of those books in there.
And you'll be able to find many books in her resource page. She has just tons of books, and they're all living books. They're all very enjoyable for the whole family.
That's right. Moving on, the next thing that's really enjoyable for our family, and it can technically be considered school, are the board games that we choose. And this holds our children's attention for upwards of an hour to 2 hours sometimes. So with currently where we are in the election process, we've purchased Election Night. And this helps with probability, multiplication, addition, geography, civics, and strategy. And it's a great way for the children to learn government and how the election process actually takes place while doing math.
And this one is so much fun. It's definitely a must-have for this year.
That's right. And our 6 and 8-year-old, between this game and Game of the States, they could already name all the upper 50 states just by playing this game. So that was really cool.
Scotland Yard is also a fun game. It's really a strategy game. There's one player who is pitted against the rest of the players. So the rest of the players are tracking him, and they're all working together as a team. It's just a really fun game. But again, if you check the description box, we have a bunch of board games there that we enjoy as a family, and all of them are educational, but not educational in a way that isn't fun.
The other game, and this is probably one of my favorite because I remember it when I was a child, is CashFlow. And this is also a great game to teach your children math skills, adding, subtracting, but also financial planning, budgeting, all of those things, and investing. The children love it. This is actually the first CashFlow. They have a CashFlow Junior that we played, but we actually prefer just the original CashFlow over the Junior. It's just our preference.
If you're getting any value out of this video, I ask that you please hit the like button down below. And if you're interested in finding more videos specifically about homeschooling during this time, maybe you didn't plan it, maybe you weren't expecting it, but we are going to have other videos coming out about what you can do during this time to enjoy your homeschooling together. So if you haven't already, please subscribe.
Moving on, the next thing we really enjoy in our homeschool is incorporating handicrafts. We don't like to have our children having idle hands, so if they can work on something and create, that is so great for their minds and their hands. Handicrafts are great because it's a good way to incorporate service or doing something for others with their free time. So our oldest is actually really getting into wood burning. We purchased a book and a kit right on Amazon. The link is in the description below, and he loves it. Again, it's our older child. We don't recommend younger children doing it, but it's a great way to work on handwriting. There's letters in here, art, there's stencils, there's so much in here that you can do. But these things can be given, he's given things to his friends, family members. It's great. Our next is working on whittling. He's always been interested in little wood carving things, so we bought him a kit as well. It's for the older children, but it's something that keeps them occupied for hours, and they can be proud of the work that they do when they see that they're able to create things with their own hands. It's a good sense of accomplishment for them.
So as my husband said, these are activities that our older two children are doing because only they are doing them safely. But we have quite a few activities that all of our children enjoy doing. Drawing, watercolors, card making, crocheting, and another thing that our children really enjoy doing is weaving pot holders. So we have this weaving loom, and they basically pick out the colors that they're going to be using, and they weave them together, and then the finished product looks something like this. This is something that's really enjoyable. It can keep them busy for quite a while, and there's a beautiful finished product at the end that they can either give away or sell. Something else that we enjoy doing are logic puzzles. We got this book recently. This is not a math book, and it is a really neat book. It says a smart art activity book, and it has various puzzles in it that are basically showing that math is artistic. It can make really beautiful designs, and this is a really enjoyable book. I would highly recommend this book because you're doing math and art all at the same time, and the children don't even know that they're doing math. We get these puzzle books right from the Dollar Tree. We go to the Dollar Tree occasionally, and I'll have the children each pick out a puzzle book that they enjoy doing. And we have a lot of fun doing the puzzle books together, or they enjoy doing it separately in their spare time.
Next, and this is probably one of my favorite topics of homeschooling, is STEM. And if you don't know what STEM is, it stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. And most of the toys that we buy our children, you can find in the Amazon section specifically for STEM. Please check the description and you'll find the Amazon STEM links there. Our oldest is really into engineering, so we've really purchased quite a few books on engineering. 101 Things I Learned in Engineering School, and our second is really into architecture. He loves to draw, so we got him a little kit that has stencils and things of that nature. And 101 Things I Learned in Architecture School. You could literally sit down and just draw up house plans for hours. Builders and other structures, so different roof pitches and windows and different designs. I mean, amazing. So these can be found in the STEM section. Also, there's a bunch of toys and games in there. This one is my first mind-blowing science kit. So there's different science experiments in there. Simple, fun, safe. Check the ages. I'm sure there's different age-appropriate games. There's literally stuff spilling out of here. You can tell we use it.
To different children are obviously interested in different things, and because our oldest is interested in engineering and our second is interested in architecture, we find things specifically to encourage those interests. And it's important that we do that as parents, that we take time to really encourage the things that our children are finding enjoyable, especially if there's something that could lead to a career. And
it just makes learning for them that much more fun because it's something they already enjoy doing. Another thing we like to do in our homeschool is get outside, and outdoor activities are great for the mind and the body.
Getting vitamin D and getting exercise while you're outside are really important, and also just taking time to sit and observe nature. That really does a lot to relax ourselves and to build the mind.
That's right. Getting into the body and exercise, riding bikes, playing soccer in the backyard, climbing trees. All of these things are great for the body.
I just recently bought this book. It's called Nature Study Hacking Insects. This is actually a new book. This was previously an ebook and it has recently been published. I highly recommend it. But as far as nature observation, we really enjoy doing insect studies and doing bird watching. So just getting a simple pair of binoculars for each child, getting a bug microscope, and just spending time outdoors with them especially. Part of what the children enjoy the most about homeschooling is the time that they're able to spend with their parents. But when we go outside intentionally, spending time and just sitting together quietly and watching the birds, it becomes so enjoyable for all of us.
Now, our homeschool isn't all fun and games. We actually incorporate work, chores, and that doesn't necessarily have to be a drudgery. It is also something we do together, and that makes it more fun.
So as you find yourself home with your children, don't hesitate to ask them to help with the chores. Your home is just as much their home.
And this is something that is very much a part of everyday living, but it's also a part of the homeschool and character development. So encourage your children to help you with chores around the house and instill those habits with them early.
And it is the perfect time for spring cleaning. So do that together as a family as you find yourself home right now. It's also a perfect time to set up your spring capsule wardrobes if you haven't done that already.
And if you don't know what a capsule wardrobe is, there's a link in the description below. Dana can help you with that.
So here we've shared with you what we do after school is over on a given day. But in our next video, I'm going to be sharing what we're learning in our homeschool and the curriculum that we're currently using.
We hope you found some value in this video, and please be encouraged. Learning can be fun. Let us know in the comments below, what are you guys doing to stimulate learning